of the African savannah on safari, looking for... Mike, is that a lion stalking us? I think it's something much scarier. It's a search term report, and someone has keywords with 150% ACOS. Oh no, they never added any negative keywords. And it looks like all their bids are just $3. No bid optimization? We're in trouble. We need to do something about this giant ACOS, but I don't know if we can do it alone. Oh no, it's the ad badger. Should we run? No, the ad badger can save us. He'll rip that high ACOS to shreds with bid optimization and negative keywords.
What's going on, Badger Nation? It's Mike and Brett from Ad Badger, and you're listening to the PPC Den Podcast, the world's first Amazon PPC advertising podcast, and your source for all of the tips, tricks, and optimization strategies you need to get the most from your Amazon ads. I have some dissenting thoughts on budgets. People often ask me about budgets, and when I tell them my favorite budget, they often get frustrated. So what should your budget be on Amazon paid traffic campaigns? And why that number? What kind of factors do you have to look at to determine that budget? Let's talk about it. So what should your budget be on Amazon PPC? I often counter this question with a simple childhood joke. How long is a piece of string? Well, that's simple. It's 2 times half its length. How deep is half a hole? Half of its depth. And today I add a new question to this mix, which is, what should my budget be? Today, I hope to put that question in its rightful place. What should your budget be? And the answer is, whatever it should be. I first want to talk about inputs and outputs. Everything, absolutely everything in digital marketing should be a result of inputs and outputs. Here's what I mean. Input, launch a keyword. Output, you get no clicks. Input, increase bids. Output, you start getting more clicks and start getting more sales. A budget is another one of these moving targets that needs inputs and outputs. Here's what I mean. Input, you have a great ACOS, but your budget is limited. Output, time to increase that budget. Input, increase the budget by 10%. Output, budget is still limited. Input, increase budget by 10%, so on and so forth. However, oftentimes people think it works like this. Input, I read online that there's this perfect budget, and the underlying assumption is that somehow, somewhere, someone calculated this ideal, perfect budget, that if you enter this budget and not a penny more and not a penny less, you will unlock some kind of secret algorithm for better results. And worse, sometimes the inputs and outputs are like this. Input, I feel like I'm spending too much. Output, go ahead and lower the budget. When you look at the wrong inputs, you're going to make bad outputs. The second thing to understand about budgets is that it's just as much of a business level decision as it is a PPC decision. I've heard people say, we have made this business level decision to spend 10% of our total revenue on PPC ads, and we're going to update it monthly. That's awesome. Somewhere, they decided that that's the best choice for them. I say we take this a step further. When you make PPC decisions from the viewpoint of an executive level business decision, throw in one more variable when you do, ACOS or ROAS. Here's what I mean. We have decided to spend 3% of our total business revenue when the ACOS is within this bad range. From there, we decided to spend 7% of our total business revenue when the ACOS is fair. And we decided to spend 15% of our total business revenue when the ACOS is on target and great. When making these business level decisions, I suggest, of course, talking to your PPC team and evaluate the following. How much of our budget is being spent on safe, core impressions, meaning things that convert reliably? How adventurous do we want to be as an organization? How much do we want to invest in research? What is our risk tolerance? Combine that with the last statement on spending limits based off revenue and ACOS. Be sure to take some calculated risk to research new ad types, be on the forefront of new betas to try something new to get an edge. The last thing I'll mention is that many times when people are asking about budgets, what they're really asking is, what should my very first budget be when I'm still in the starting blocks for paid advertising? In that case, I do think there is some math to be had to come up with a good budget. Let's lean into some industry averages for Amazon PPC. If you spend $10 a day to get 10 clicks, will you get a conversion? For us to know that, we need to first ask ourselves is, what is the average conversion rate on Amazon PPC? So it's around 10%. The question is, do you have a 10% conversion rate or better? The only way to find out is to launch and learn. From there, you can start to make assumptions about how much you'll need to spend to at least get one conversion a day. From there, you can then ask yourself, if we take it from $10 a day to $20 a day, will you be able to double your conversions? So on and so forth. Now, of course, there is an upper limit to how much you can spend. Certain limits include how many times people are searching and actually purchasing these things. Now, in general, I like my campaigns to get at least 30 clicks a day. So I normally always set that as a basement. Why? Because that usually meets the 10% conversion rate threshold and supplies me with some room to test. I know that I'll be able to get at least one conversion and at least have some room to explore something different. Now, to finish, I want to take what we've mentioned and synthesize it all into a cohesive thought process. The first point of inputs and outputs. Remember, your budget should be responsive. It's not fixed. Ask yourself what the inputs are, your business goals, your business budgets, your ACOS, your momentum, seasonality. The list is long. Factor all of these items in and use that to determine if you should increase your budget or decrease your budget. Lean on your total business revenue to determine approximately where your budget should be. Most businesses I talk to set around a budget of 10% of their total revenue. But I always recommend you factor ACOS into that equation. Finally, I want to mention one of these urban legends or sort of superstitious behaviors that a lot of paid traffic marketers seem to have. That is setting an ultra-large budget. Now, let's say you're profitable while spending $500 a day. And let's say you just aren't hitting your $500 a day budget. You're only spending $300, maybe $320 a day. There just aren't enough searches or impressions to earn for a particular campaign. What I recommend here is to actually increase your budget to $750 or maybe $1,000 a day. Why? Because it sends a signal to Amazon that you're ready to spend if the impressions are there. Now, of course, you most certainly could jump that high, so I don't recommend doing it if you're not prepared to spend that much. And of course, it could change your ACOS because those extra clicks and extra impressions that you're getting may not convert at the same rate that they have been. So expect some variability there. But in general, PPC platforms tend to prefer larger budgets than smaller budgets. PPC advertising is typically encouraged and profitable for these platforms, and I've seen loads of campaigns seem to have this invisible hand helping their CPCs be a bit lower. Violations get excused a little bit easier, all by setting larger budgets than what they're actually spending, because it signals that you are ready. So be prepared that you might end up spending a lot more, which if your campaign is at your target ACOS, this might not be a bad thing. Now, I hope this soliloquy has helped broaden your thoughts on setting budgets. The thing to know is it's not a fixed number. Let it be responsive and know what to look for. And if you want my favorite, ultimate, super secret budget that will always be perfect, that will unlock wonders, it's very simple. Unlimited budget, pending desirable KPIs. This is Mike from Ad Badger, and I hope you've enjoyed this different kind of podcast. We'll be back to our regular podcast style next week, and you can get all of our podcasts where I'm usually joined by members of our Amazon PPC team here at Ad Badger. You can find them at adbadger.com/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.